Hello and welcome to a LittleBigPlanet 3 creation guide. This one, as the title is explained, you probably clicked on it for a reason. This is how to create a ninja sort of Sackbot, controllable Sackbot. So for like a ninja free running sort of level. It's quite a basic one, so it's just running, sneaking, of course walking and jumping. This is what it basically is like. There's a bit of music on him because this is the one I use for a different level. That's why there was tags down here. The one I'm going to use, the words he has a sneak in. The one we're going to make is a bit more efficient, where it detects the floor automatically. It doesn't need tags to detect the floor. But this is basically what it's going to be like. Just because if you watch, if I drop on this normal floor, he like thinks he's still in the air. So this is why the system that I'm going to make on this video is going to be a bit different, more efficient. So, right, yeah, let's get straight into it. First, I would recommend switching grid on. Any size will do. I would recommend small again. And to start with, get a material that has no physical property to it. As in a material that has no collision to it. That would be like effects. So, like all these effects and the ones that are in... Oh, hold on. Categories. These have no physical property to them, well, at least most of them don't, if not all. You can use them. Any one that can become transparent, or if it doesn't, you can use the opacity tweaker and make sure it's a dynamic object and place a 4x4 square of it, and then of course make transparent using either opacity tweaker or just tweak it like that. So if you test it, it's not there in play mode. So that's the first step done. One step closer. Second, of course, you need the Sackbot. So I'm going to tweak him just for now, so he's not Sackboy and not happy. So he's just standard, because the happiness is right. Yeah, and then you go back to containers logic, so that's below this, and then get a control name and stick it onto here. This won't work anything. It won't do anything yet. Now open the right R1 on Sackbot. Sorry if I'm explaining this bad, but R1 on the Sackbot and put another one of these inside them. Anywhere will do. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference. Tweak the one on the thingy on your non-physical material to be its transmitter, and choose one of the colors, but make sure the color in this matches. So I'm going to go for green because that's the typical player one color, isn't it? Or blue. And this one as a receiver, so it receives green input. So right now, if I was to control this, it overrides the Sackbot, so he moves like, well, he just moves like a player, so I can move my arms and everything. But that's not what I want. I don't want him to be an override of a player. I want him to, like, yeah, don't override him. And now nothing will happen when I try to control. But it will transmit anything to this one. So if I press X in that one, it'll transmit an X to this one. That's basically how that works. Now, in the Sackbot, wait, don't do that first. In this wireless thing, we're going to want to get it follow. So open the Sackbot and these two. And get a mover and get a follower and stick it on here. This at the minute will follow the player and bring it right down to 0, so it's infinity. So it should be the infinity symbol there, like that, and it'll detect from everywhere on the map, sort of thing. And also get it transmit not follow a character, follow a tag, and choose any color you want again, but it'll have to match one that is tag that you put in the Sackbot. So I'm going to go for this green, and I'm also going to put, that's from the other one, follower. Let's go for follower. You name that whatever you want, just the tag that's in your Sackbot now. Put a sensor, the tag inside Sackbot, and make sure it's the same color and the same tag, and it'll follow him like that. So if he was to move, I can't move him yet, but if he was to move, then it'll follow him anywhere. We can tweak the speed of it once we've actually got him moving and stuff, so we don't know how fast we want it to go for smooth camera movement. Right, now go back to here and place a microchip in the Sackbot. This one's going to be for movement, so then inside here, this is just to keep neatness, so things don't get over cluttered. It will get a bit over cluttered, it's just the way it is with these Sackbots, unfortunately. It's good system, but it gets cluttered, of course. Right, so there's going to be 2 of these. We're only going to work on one-way movement at the minute. So first open this. So you should have a tag inside the microchip. There's another microchip, and that's for, right, we'll just close all this. Sorry about that. That was a bit of muttering there. Get a direction splitter, not this one. Don't get mixed up with that. Direction splitter, so it splits one input into 2. And I would recommend turn it 90 degrees clockwise, because if it's this way, when you connect the left right to it, right is up and left is down, whereas if you turn it clockwise once, left is left, right is right, so it's a lot easier to manage, I guess. Now back in here, placing and I'm kind of doing this in a bit of an unusual order at the minute, and put it so if it's and hold on. Yeah, put an and here. Put 3 ands, in fact. Let's do this way. This might get a bit confusing, I don't know. And this is going to be the right control, so get the right input and connect the right to each one of these. Now is where things start to get really muddled up, so you're gonna I'll have to go pretty slow and you have to follow along. Get an inverter or a NOT gate. I call them an inverter because it kind of inverts the inputs. So if it's a yes, it's a no. If it's a no, it's a yes. And I'm going to go for R1 first. R1 is going to be my run button. You can choose whatever you want for run buttons. So if you wanted, I don't know, square for your sprint button, then go for square. But I like R1 as a sprint button, so I'm going to go for R1. And get the NOT, so this is if R1's not pressed, then go to here, and also put a 3rd input on this, and this is one's if L1's not pressed, then I'm gonna just put this one up here. If L1's not pressed, for sneak, this is for sneak, so whatever you want your sneak button to be. And then, there we go, so if neither of them are pressed, but right is pressed, then this one will trigger. This one's if R1 is pressed. So the first one's gonna be running R1. So that you just take your run button directly to, no inverts or anything. And then this one's going to be L1, but this is going to... running's going to be prioritized over sneaking, so put a 3rd input on the sneaking one. And take it so the run has to be not enabled for sneaking to work. And sneaking button does have to be enabled. So if you hold the run button while you're sneaking, it'll automatically go into run instead, because run always prioritizes over sneaking, of course. It's like ninja-y stuff. Now, I'm going to test that each one of these work. So it's not going to work. It's not going to move the Sackbot at all. I'm just going to show that each one works. This is if I'm walking normally, it's the top one. If I'm running, it should be the middle one. Yes. If I'm sneaking, it should be the right one. I mean the bottom one. Yeah, that works. Now we need the movers. There's a few ways you could have done this, but there's a bit of a weird bug where if you use this and just use the left right and make it so that connect that directly to it, if you hold it slightly, it does move like this. Now if you hold softly, Sackboy, but if you hold softly left, it goes right instead, and it just, these are solid, you can't softly hold it, it goes at one solid speed, so that's why I use these, if that is any consolation at all. And I don't know what speed I'm going to want these yet, so I'm going to put them in all like a recognizable speed, so like 2's walking I'm going to have for now. 3 will be running and don't go anywhere. Sneaking will be 1. And also you're going to want the acceleration at like 90-ish, maybe 100. It's up to you. I will be able to test and tweak and change and whatnot. Stop from moving. Right, so if he's walking, he's that fast. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to have to make... tweak this and make it so you cannot... like disable pop-it controls, that's one thing, so they can't open the pop-it. And you might want to put, we'll leave that for now in fact, and put it in it disable, so like, sorry, I went out too quickly. Put it as not visible in play mode, and then L3 is the shortcut for hiding your screenery, whatever. Right, Right, that's walking. It's running. It's not much a difference at the minute. And sneaking. There's no animations yet, of course, which was one of the things that the last one you seen did. He had a lot of animations to him and stuff. I'm just taking him back over here. And that's very slowly following after him. Right, so I think next, it'd be wise to do the animations next. So it's kind of, don't do the other side that you don't need it until this side's fully completed. So get a character animator tweaker. Yeah. And then place one for each one of these. So that'll be running, sneaking, walking. So walking, what we're going to have for walking. What did I have last time? I think I just had Sackboy's generic walk, which is down at the very bottom in additional animations in Sackboy, and then it's quite near the bottom-ish, and there's a Sackboy walk somewhere. Sackboy walks slowly. Then he has another important step for the walk, right. Override the rotation, and then turn him 270, I think, it's opposite of 90. Yeah, it is 270 degrees. So he's walking, when he's walking right, he walks like that, instead of like walking like he's walking forward but walking sideways. That makes sense. And also you're going to want to connect each one of these up to each animation. So that's the walking animation was the top one, of course, as we're established. This one was running, so I want to run an animation now. I can't remember what running animation I used last time, so I'm just going to have to just choose a different one this time. We could just go for that, that's an alright one. And once again, 270. And this one's sneaking, and there's a sneaking animation once again down in additional animation Sackboy. It's near-ish to the other one we just used. It's called Sackboy Stealth, I think. Oh, there it is. Stealth Walk, it's called, sorry. Oops. Looks like that. And this one, of course, again at 270. It's going to be different for the right side, obviously. So, let's test what that looks like. Speeds aren't going to be right, so it's going to be walking faster than his animation on one. So that's walking, running, and sneaking. Alter the speeds. We can't move left at the minute, you may notice. That's what we're going to do now in this tag. So that was right. Now duplicate that, and this next one's left. Now I would recommend just deleting all these inputs again, because they're a bit messy, and we can easily do them again. So, right, so it went that in the top one, it was, you get the right, no, you get, for this one, you get the left one, the one that hasn't been used for the left-right splitter, and connect one of these to each, at least one of these inputs on each one. And then for the top one, it was if both of these are no, so connect that not one and that not one to the top one. And then the top one was prioritized after all the next one, the running, so just get the running button and put it straight in the next one down. And then the bottom one was if running's not pressed, like if the run key's not pressed and the sneak key is pressed. That'll work for left. Now you'd invert all these, so the running speed was a bit slow, I think. So I think about 4, put that at 4. So then this needs to go at -4. And this needs to go at -1. This needs to go at -2. So the exact inverse of what they were before. And then the animations need to be put to 90 now, which is the invert of 270. For each animation. You don't need to alter the actual animation, just this. And there's a bug with some animations where they invert when they're rotated, but that's, I think it's if you rotate them a bit weirdly. There, that should allow you to walk left and right now. So just move that so it's in. Yep. Yep, that works fine. Now you won't be able to jump, you'll notice. Now we need to do the jump controls, which is honestly where it gets really awkward, where things will start to get really confusing. So yeah, this is the part where you'll have to really pay attention. Again, place another microchip in here, and For this one, oh, we need that to be a lot bigger than that. A lot. Start with, I would say, this is my method of doing it. This is the way I always do it. I think it's a weird method. It might be a common method. I don't know. And I don't watch tutorial videos. I sort of figure everything out my own way. I pause the games because we're going to use timers, and timers automatically count as soon as you place them. So it just, yeah, pause it makes a lot less fuss. And change this to, I don't know what should I have that, about 1 second. So there's a 1 second delay between each jump. Nah, it might cause problems. 0.1, should have it 0.1. Right, and have it so this timer, so I didn't explain it very well. That's a counter with 1 on it. That's a timer with like 0.1 second on it, and puts the timer resets both of them. And thinking of the best way of doing this, right? So we can get an and out, so I know we're going to need an and. So if this is enabled, right, yeah, I can put an and here, in fact. So if this is pressed, I'm not sure that's the best method. Right, we can go for if two are pressed, right, and in fact, take these both off, take both these off, because we might not need them yet. Which means we might not actually need the, I don't know, hold on. Right, get an invert tag, and I'll figure this out as I go. There's a few different ways you can do this, I'm just trying to figure out the most efficient way. Got it, right. Right, put it like that again, so it's back like that, so it's the AND gate, so this has to be 2 things enabled at once, and the old input we just did. And put it, now go to creature sensors, which is 2 tabs along, and characters and creatures, or creatures and characters, and put a state sensor on, and change the state to touching ground. This is the system that I didn't do last time for the last ninja dude, so I had to place tags on the floor. You may have noticed. This time you won't have to, he'll automatically detect when he's on the floor. So if I'm paused now, because I won't count, it's tagged, it's detecting because he's on the floor. And the other thing is, if you press X, or that's going to be my jump button, X of course, because it's just standard, especially in LittleBigPlanet. So if you're on the floor and you press X, this will enable, and it'll have a second delay, so you can't spam it. It'll stop you from doing like a double jump before you actually launch off the ground and jumping extremely high. Now you actually want, oh god, that music, I had to close the popper to get rid of that. So now we'll actually want to jump. What this will also do, since it resets in 1 second, this will only be enabled for 1 second, so it'll only give out an output for like a millisecond, a fraction of a second is all it'll give an output for. So this will only accelerate up for a fraction of a second, which is perfect. So put the deceleration down to 0, so that nothing can slow down. I would put this up to like 80 or something. We can tweak that again, and then put it to the jump. How much? 20. See how ridiculous this is going to be. Oops. I can't remember what causes that. What causes that? Is it the movement? I think it's the movement. Yeah, right, yeah. I remember how I did this last time. We need to create a new type of movement for when you're in midair. And that's basically the same as how I did that one. So when get an invert of that, so place an inverter so we can get an invert of this so we're not on the ground. So if we're not on the ground, it takes this and tag, we don't want to place another one, just duplicate it. And suppose so that if you're not on the ground, you're in the air, and hold on, right. Yeah, get 2 of these and duplicate for both ones, and then get a left or a right one. That's why I placed them like that. Put the left splitter and then the right splitter in each one. And then put another one of these on. Oh, but don't want him to go flying, do we? So pause it. And put these as right and left, so I don't know, about 3 air acceleration I would say about, and then 3 that way. This might be a bit too much, I don't know. So let's see what that's, oh wait, and if you're in the air, make sure it drags this tag and, no wait, take the normal one and put it onto the bottom of the movement tag, so that where these two were, put it onto there. So while he's on the floor, their movement's enabled. So while you're in air, you can't move left and right without. So that'll stop the air walking that was happening. So yeah, you see what I mean about this being difficult, this part. Now we want him to jump higher than that, and actually want him to jump a bit faster than that, so I would say like 90. And 31. That's too high, isn't it? 25 is good, I think. Sorry, I keep tweaking this. Oh lordy. Far too high now. Whatever this is going to be like, I'll leave it at this. Right, yeah, that's fine. It's completely, no it's not. 6. Too low. Right, yeah, that's fine. Now we want the jump animation, and actually there's a step I actually forgot out, and that's back in here. This is another method that like I use exclusively, and I don't know if other people use it. Put a selector in here below that and set it to 2 inputs only, and then put each one like left and right on here, and in each one of these again, we'll have to tweak each one, but we can copy it over. Just move them down so you got some space. Put in another AND gate. You just copy that one over again. And put it so if the left... Get another inverter. Another 2 inverters. Just for if left and right are not pressed. No wait, actually, we can just have one. So have one inverter and put it on here. So if neither of them are pressed... Actually... Hold on, and move... No, that's a thing we just placed here. We didn't do much, we just duplicate that and place it in here, so that should look like that again. And... yeah, keep this inverter here. I would say, whoops. And put it so if... yeah, right, duplicate this inside this new tag we just created, inside the new microchip we just created, and place this inverted one from the left, right, on each one of these. So if the player's not moving, then the player's not moving, I guess. Then place the left on one of them and right on one of them. Now the last way he was facing was right, so I'm going to actually put that to left, right. That's where my indication. So this is for the idle animation, so I'm just going to have for the idle animation, copy that over because I'm lazy and I can't bother to browse through the menus. Oh, and there's a bug where you have to like zoom out to get Sackbot in it. I'm going to have Sackboy's general idle animation, so that one's good. That one's fine to me. And that's left, so he's facing left there. And duplicate it again and rotate it to 270, which is the invert again. Put this on. So this will be, if nothing's been pressed, then he has an idle animation. Now, Ninja I actually used before in the last one. You've seen that he's turned slightly towards the front. That's like a style I sort of like, where they're not facing directly the way when they stood still. I don't know why I did that. Oh, hold on, I'm having a real bad time here. Right. So, turn it like, I don't know, like 3 paces that way, or 2. 2's good. And same with that one. 2, yeah. So he's not facing exactly when he stood idle, he like turns around slightly. Yeah, that's good. They also made notice now that we've disabled this while he's jumping, he has no animation, he just has a standard animation while he's in air. So we need to actually make the animation for him when he's in air, which is done the same way. So if get an and tag again, 2 and tags, one for left, one for right, and put it so if he's not on the ground again with this invert tag back in the jump microchip, put this invert on each one of these, so an invert on each one. This is a really long video, I'm sorry for this. And then put it back from inside here, where we'll just put a selector on, put a left and a right on. So while he's in air, depending on which way he was last facing is where his jump animation's gonna I'm gonna copy an animation over because I can't remember the browser menu. The way his jump animation's gonna be facing. I can't remember which jump animation I actually used last time. Yeah, I wanna preview. I think I used one of the fallen ones. No, it was a jump. Right, I just had to reference my old character, and it's the Who Cat animation I used, which is down in the bottoms. We're looking for, well, back down in the bottom Sackboy section. The Who Cat power up. I don't know when I've passed it though, which is a problem. Here we are. That's the one I used. It's crazy, isn't it? Oh, bless, it's adorable. So that's his right one, so his left one even, sorry, so rotate this so it's to... No, we can have these 90 and then you can have that to 270 because he is moving directly that way, so... And then connect these both to the animations. It always has to be in the top input and right on a state as well. So if it's not working, it's because they're not in the top input. So now let's see what that looks like. Oh, it's so adorable, isn't it? So you can run and then jump across holes like that. Now the one other thing that needs to be done is close all the Sackbots. He's done now, surprisingly. So I can just give him a Sackboy look if Sackboy looks a bit weird. Materials. There we go, he's got Sackboy's look. In this, back in the actual piece of whatever material they used, this is where the camera goes, so we can have a smooth camera movement. So they're back over in here, I think, camera, yeah. And it's this one you have to use the game camera, not the movie camera. And put the player tracking to 0, just so it won't track the player. And you can tweak the focus, that's up to you, this really is preference. And position it however you think's a good position, like I'll say that from there. Don't do it relevant as Sackboy, do it relevant to this controller. Pretend that controller is Sackboy. So, yeah, so when that follows him, it'll be like that. And because that's following slowly like that, that makes like a smooth camera, but it's a bit too slowly, I think. So put us up to like 90, maybe. Not like 8. That'd be good. That's too fast. 70. That's the speed, that's too much. Speed's still a little bit too much. But yeah, you can mess around with that and then get it the right look, but that's how it's done basically. It's a better system than the one I created last time because you don't need the flaws anymore, you can just ninja around. Of course, if you want to tweak all the speeds and stuff, I didn't bother with all the speeds, just the jumping speed and stuff I bothered with. See, that's how it's done. So if you found that helpful, then the usual like, favorite, subscribe and whatnot, and if you want more than this, then do say, or just subscribe, and then I'll do more whenever they're needed. So yeah, if you enjoyed, then like a favorite, subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.